Hello everyone, it's Simon here with a review of Overpass. Overpass is the latest game from Studio Bean, who bought us Sound Dodger a few years ago. I absolutely adore that game, and you'll find some gameplay of it on my channel already, and so I was really excited to see Overpass seeing Studio Bean return to the rhythm action genre. I had high hopes, they have been fulfilled. You can pretty much stop the review there, but if you want to know more, keep on going. Overpass is a bit more of an experimental rhythm action game in terms of some of its design elements, but it's probably closest to a game called Aero, which was where you would fly down a tunnel and you'd need to trigger off the rhythm action elements while spinning around the tunnel. Overpass puts you in an 80s synthwave environment, smashed up with like a vaporwave aesthetic, and creates such a highly stylised and individual experience that's just charming, engrossing and effortlessly cool. You are driving down a highway and you're not doing the driving, and that has nothing to do with the actual rhythm action elements, but all of the scenery coming towards you is what triggers the elements off. There are two specific difficulty levels to play with on Overpass, or how you tackle the levels. The first one is just getting the basics right, and that's because up on the top of the screen you've got like this little eye iris, and you need to move that either to the left, to the right, or keep it in the centre, and then press a button, be that the space button on a keyboard or a button on your controller, to hit to the rhythm whilst something flies into the eye of the eye, or the centre of the eye, I guess. It's almost like threading the eye of a needle, I guess. So you'll be moving with the left analog stick, left or right, or with the arrow keys or whatever, and then hitting to the rhythm as stuff goes through. Now you've got 8 different environments, and each one changes up how things come towards you. So initially it'll just be like street lights, overpasses and stuff like that, hence the name itself. But then as you go through this road trip and you get into different places, it will be like windmills will be spinning around, so you won't necessarily see what's coming towards you, and as it does it's going to cross over, so you need to kind of be in sync with the song to kind of understand if it's going to be going to the right or to the left, or sometimes it might actually just stop in the middle, and that's kind of where some of the frustration comes in for the game, is that quite often first time round you're guessing, and because you aren't always given a lot of time to understand the logic of how each type of these 8 areas works, and they get increasingly more complex as you go along, you don't have much time to react. So it's almost like your first pass through is as if you are learning and understanding some of the songs, and then it's one of those games that really helps with repetition and memorization and understanding where your stuff goes. So that's where the difficulty curve of Overpass kicks in. So that's your basic playthrough. However, a little bit like if you've ever played Persona 3, 4 or 5, Dancing All Night and so on and so forth, they have rings that go out that you can turn on or off that are like swipes. Overpass takes on that mechanic, but as additional street lamps down at the side. Now they won't have the left or right anchors on them that signal that they should be hit, but you can move your eye left and right so that every time a street lamp hits the eye you can also hit the button, and therefore get essentially like a perfect bonus run as well. So you can get like a perfect by getting just all of the symbols, but you may have missed about 150 street lamps in between. So instead of it being a dun dun dun, it will be a dun 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 kind of thing. Sorry, that's probably a terrible example and probably crashing against music that's going on. But I think it's important to know that, because the way how Overpass works is in its discovery levels, you're essentially going off down a map and choosing your different direction, which then opens up different levels. And you need to get a 50% pass rate to progress. And quite often, if you're really struggling with a lot of just hitting some of the symbols, if you can crack out quite a lot of those in-betweenies of street lamps as well, it will go a real long way to boosting up your score. And that's how I found that I could survive all the way to pretty much the end of the discovery phase, and then I always crash out on the last level at the minute, which is a shame. As you go through, you'll be levelling up as well, and levelling up unlocks different effects. It also unlocks different like stylistic environments for where all of the different button presses are coming towards you, and different colour palettes as well for the UI, but also for like effects that trigger off of the screen as well. So it becomes more and more vaporwavy as the game kind of unlocks itself as it goes along, which was really cool. There's 40 tracks to play with across these 8 environments, and most of them are top down, but then you'll get like little short to sides, and from there you're looking out of the side window of the car, and it's such a small little change, but it makes me think of DJ Max. I'm going to say Technica 3, but it's the one where you've got it and it all goes to the side and you've got to hit stuff. Rhythm Action people can correct me on that because I know I'm wrong, but I'm going to continue regardless because I'm 6 minutes into this review. And yeah, it's just such a small change, but it makes such a difference in terms of how you then approach the game, because you're thinking horizontally rather than vertically. And it's it's stupid, but it makes a difference. The other thing that you can also do with Overpass as well is create your own tracks. I've not had the chance to really dive into this myself, but Bean has already uploaded a couple of tracks just to get you started. There's some other ones up there already, and they look suitably wacky, and potentially adds lots and lots of longevity and life to your game. I remember the track editor in Sound Dodger being really comprehensive but quite difficult to initially get going on, so I'd imagine it being relatively the same here in Overpass, although there's not tons for you to actually map out unless you're going to be really, really precise on the beat. The other thing that I'd say as well is that the soundtrack is absolutely glorious, and comes as a DLC actually if you want to go and buy it. It comes with 42 tracks. It's made by someone called Makeup and Vanity Set is like the stage name for it all. But it's absolutely fantastic, and the DLC also comes with an art book and about 8 or 9 different versions of concepts of Overpass through development. So if you wanted to see how it kind of came to being, that's really, really interesting. For like an extra £3.50 you've got that, the soundtrack and the art book, which is well worth it if you dig the music itself. So yeah, this is going to be a challenging one. I can see some people getting really frustrated at the fact that things come towards you at a million miles an hour. I also lament some of the design decisions where actually they're obscuring what the actual symbols are, and so some of it, if you're trying to go for perfect runs, feels really unfair the first few tries, and that's where this memorization and pattern recognition comes into play for Overpass. It really does rely on that. However, the game is an absolute joy to play when you're in the flow of it. And that's really what a rhythm action game is that I look for, is getting into that flow, the understanding of getting into the rhythm, the way how the maps of the button presses match the beat of the song and the rhythm and the melody. It syncs beautifully in that regard. And so if you don't mind doing a little bit of homework essentially to remember patterns as you go along for the later levels, then I think Overpass will be an absolute must-have for rhythm action owners. If you've got any questions or comments, please do leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. However, you can come and join me out on the road trip because I'll be playing Overpass for a very long time to come. Thanks for watching, take care, bye.
This channel is just one of my many projects that cover games, music and film. If you enjoy any of these and would consider supporting me to develop further in the future, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/Satorimon. Thank you for your time and for watching the video.